What's up, guys? Sam the Raid Man back here today with another video. Today's going to be pretty simple. We're just going to film this in 3 parts. But basically, I want to look at the best champions in each rarity, the 5 best champions in each rarity for Clan Boss. So we're going to do the 5 best rares, 5 best epics, 5 best legendaries. So let's start off with an honorable mention or two. There's a few of them that are kind of just okay in the rares, but definitely not as many. One is Ogren Jailer, really fun champion. 3 single target hits, all smacks. He is really good. A few other rares in the Lizardman. Bogwalker's got a good decreased attack on the A1. He's an honorable mention. Harrispec, small poison, and can speed up with a little revive. Another honorable mention. Night Revs. Coven Smasher, one of the best rare decreased attack champions. I'm putting him as an honorable mention with an HP burn as well. And I think that's probably it for honorable mentions. Veer the Alchemage, not too bad, wherever he's at. Bulwark, he's another honorable mention. Bulwark does weaken on the A1, small version, HP burn on the A2, and whenever he gets hit, has a chance of extending the duration of debuffs, which isn't very good as a damage dealer, or it's fine as a damage dealer, but it's a lot better at like keeping decreased attack up or something like that if it's not on a low enough cooldown. So he's good. He could have made the list. I'd say he's the closest. And he maybe should have gone in over this guy. But at number 5, we're going to go from 5 to 1. I have Kale, everyone's favorite starter. Build him with some damage, accuracy, speed, lifesteal with Warmaster. He's going to do a ton of damage, tons of poisons. He's great. And I actually used him when I was testing damage dealers in the Mythfu team. Let me pull that up. We tested 23, and he was our 14th best damage dealer. He did 32 million damage. That was almost half the team's damage. So he is absolutely viable up until endgame. If you're using Kale, you've got no reason you need to replace him anytime soon. All right, let's move on to number 4, who's not a damage dealer, but he is a support, and that is Apothecary. Triple hitter on the A1 gives him a chance for Giant Slayer, big heal on one target in the A2, 3-turn cooldown, increased speed, and fills the turn rate of all allies. You can use him and a Deacon, or you can use him and a High Katoon to try and go 2 to 1. So he's really big. Early game to mid game, even a few late game accounts. I've done some clan boss takeovers, and I've used Apothecary to help them get to the speeds that they need. So he is great. And then we're going to our number 3 champion, number 3 rare, whose same faction actually is Heiress. And this is more of a recent development ever since the Mytha was added into the game. Now, Heiress, you could put her higher, you could put her lower, but if you don't have Demytha, she's not as good. But what she does, A1, it's nothing special for Clan Boss. The A2 is interesting. 3-turn cooldown, removes 1 random debuff. Once booked, places increased speed on all allies for 2 turns. Also, she's got a cool passive, counterattacks the attacker when an ally is attacked. So every time the Clan Boss hits, she's going to counterattack back. Speed in dungeons isn't bad. You can put her in a toxic set because she's going to counterattack every turn. She'll get a lot of turns in, a lot of hits in, and she'll put a lot of poisons in the Clan Boss. But basically, you pair her with Demytha and a few other champions. She's going to cleanse you, keep you offender friendly, and cleanse the stun. So she's actually pretty unique in this ability. There's a few champions that can do this. She can do this as a rare. To Hanorok, the Void Legendary can do it. That's how I use in my team. Let me pull that team up real quick because we actually could use Heiress in my team, but we use 2 Hanorok. And then Elva Autumnborn is another new legendary champion. So yeah, this is my team right here. 2 Hanorok, Turvold, Seeker, Demytha, Ruella. It's a team of my own creation. But yeah, we could use Heiress in place of 2 Hanorok. So she's pretty great. She's very, very in-game viable. I'd say she's a little less viable for the early game, but because of that value and how good she can be, I'm putting her number 3. Now, number 2 is going to be a similar champion, kind of needs the tandem here, but we're going back to the Dark Elves. So we've had 2 Dark Elves and 2 High Elves, interestingly enough, and that is Painkeeper. Now, Painkeeper is really only good with Maneater or Double Maneater, and I wouldn't recommend using her if you're not trying to build like a budget Maneater unkillable team. Like I wouldn't just throw her in a Clan Boss team. But I just built an unkillable Clan Boss team for a account takeover the other day, the budget Maneater, and just Painkeeper makes it possible. So she's got an A1, which is actually kind of annoying. It fills her own turn meter by 10%, and it makes it much more difficult to speed tune, but we figured it out. A2 is a pretty big heal. AoE hit and then a heal. And then this is what makes her special. Combat tactics, 4-turn cooldown, decreases the cooldown of all ally skills by 1 turn. So basically you put her and a man-eater together, and if you build it correctly, that team can go 50 turns. So pretty special. Painkeeper doesn't do a ton of damage, but just is unique in allowing that composition to exist. And we're finally at the number 1 spot for the number 1 rare for clan boss in the game. Any guesses? Shouldn't be a surprise. It is Frozen Banshee. And Frozen Banshee is so slept on. Everyone knows about her, but people still think that, oh, I got to stop using her so I can go use this champion. And you don't. She's unbelievable. I'll go over her kit really quick. She's got accuracy in all battles by 35, which is nice, especially early game. A3 is 3-turn cooldown, places poison sensitivity for 2 turns. Poison sensitivity, if you're unfamiliar, just makes poisons tick for more damage. And then the A1 attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit has a 100% chance when booked of placing a big poison for 2 turns if they're under poison sensitivity. So she sets herself up, but she needs a poison sensitivity to be up. A2 hits and increases turn meter by 2%, so that's not very good, but we just turn this off in Clan Boss. But it is insane. You put her in a counterattack team or an ally attack team or like a 3-to-1 team. So I tested her in the Mythfu, and let me show you this, guys. It was pretty bonkers. This is a rare. And she was the 4th best damage dealer we tested. She did 42.674 million. And that's without weaken on the clan boss. So Ninja did the most, then Turvold, then Anax, then Frozen Banshee. A rare in 4th. Better than Aethar, better than Rowan, better than Phoenix, better than Dark Kael, better than Cult Brawler, better than Fane. Everyone wants to use Fane. Better than Nethrol, better than Geomancer, better than Kael. Unbelievable, guys. 4th best damage dealer out of all 23 of these. She smacks. She brings tons of poisons. She is absolutely amazing. So, next up is going to be the epics, and we're going to look at the 5 best epics for Clan Boss. If you guys are interested in using BlueStacks and helping me grow my channel, then download BlueStacks and Raid Shadow Legends through my link that I'll leave in the description below. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I hope you enjoy using BlueStacks. So this list is a little bit different. Didn't really include many damage dealers here. These are all champions that enable stuff. And with the 5th pick, we could have swapped this out, maybe put in a damage dealer like Anax, but he does do some damage. So for the 5th best epic for Clan Boss, I picked somebody maybe a little biased. I just pulled him on my free-to-play a little while back. I put in Geomancer. And if you don't know about Geomancer, he places his HP burn and weaken and then reflects a ton of damage. But the reason I picked him is, especially in an unkillable team with like a man-eater, he does tons of damage because he just continually reflects back damage that you take, removes buffs. It's really the rest of his kit is fine, but HP burn and just reflecting a ton of damage puts up a lot of damage. Even in a block damage team, he still puts up a good amount of damage. But the reason I really included him is because of how good he is for traditional teams as well, which is decreasing the damage all allies receive by 15% and then deflects that onto the clan boss. And like taking away 15% damage is huge. That's a great way to help your team stay alive, and he's doing damage simultaneously. So I think he's tremendous, unkillable or not, which is why I put him in the 5 spot. The other 4 champions are mostly going to be unkillable champions, but tough to argue how good they are or not. Number 4, a lot of people would kind of swap number 4, number 3, or just they're interchangeable, but I think he's worse, and that's Seeker. This is just for Clan Boss. So Seeker's better in Arena or good in Arena, but for Clan Boss, he hits pretty hard in the A1. Then he just does A2, fills the turn rate of all allies by 30%, places increased attack on everybody, grants an extra turn. And the grants an extra turn is why this is special. On a 3-turn cooldown, means he does this, goes again into the A1, basically makes this a 2-turn cooldown. So he is a huge part of keeping your team going faster, getting your team to 2-to-1 or 3-to-1. This one's fine for traditionals, but doesn't affect us in unkillable. But he hits pretty hard. That's one of the benefits of using Seeker. And the other one that a lot of people would say are interchangeable, but I couldn't take them out, is Deacon. And Deacon is a similar type of thing. Fills the turn of all eyes by 15%, and then grants an extra turn, which makes this, instead of a 3-turn, a 2-turn. But the reason I put him above is because of a few things. First of all, a speed aura of 19%. So that can lower everyone's speed requirements by 19, which is nice. AoE decreased defense, which is nice if you're using a team that uses one or two of these guys, Deacon and Seeker, or just Deacon. You don't have to bring in a decreased defense champion. And a leech on the A1. So he's actually really good for traditional Clan Boss teams. I also have him on my free to play account. So he's our speed lead, he's our decreased defense, and he's our leech. So, which is huge. He just brings so much in one champion. Every part of his kit is useful for Clan Boss. That's why I have him at 3. And you're thinking, Deacon, pretty amazing. How can you have 2 champions above that? And it's because they are the king and queen of unkillable teams. So you might ask who's 1, who's 2? We're going to go to 2 first. And for me, number 2 is Maneater. He was the king for so long, and he still is. He is amazing. A1, decreased attack. A2, hits pretty hard. But it's all about the A3, Ancient Blood. Takes a little bit of damage himself. Places unkillable and block debuffs on all allies for 2 turns. So this is on a 5-turn cooldown. And he's amazing. 2 Maneaters. Well, so 1 Maneater, 1 Painkeeper. You can do a bunch of unkillable, and that's huge. 2 Maneaters, you're cruising. Two Maneaters, you're getting a 2 key. You're good to go. That is one of the easiest teams to do. There's an easy double Maneater team, and it is affinity friendly. Just put 3 DPS in there. It's an awesome team. One of my favorite teams. The reason I only put him at 2 is because I just love the champion at number 1 so much. This is, in my opinion, the best epic for Clan Boss, and it's Demitha. She can be used in the Infinity Shield team with Unappriest Brogni. She can be used in the Myth Air team. She can be used in a Myth Maneater team. She can be in the Myth Buster team. There's so many teams built around her because she has block damage on a 3-turn cooldown. So like Maneater needs someone reducing his cooldowns or another person bringing block damage or unkillable. Demitha can do it by herself if you can get her going fast enough. Typically that means Ares for increased speed, Deacon for increased turn meter, Seeker for increased turn meter. So you get less slots, but you essentially make the team going 3-1. Every time the clan boss takes a turn, everyone's going 3 times. Which, if you can build it, is tremendous damage. To me, the best unkillable teams in the game are all Demitha teams. So A1, little shield. A2, this is actually really nice. Decreases or increases the duration of all ally buffs, then decreases the duration of all ally debuffs for 1 turn. This can be helpful with affinity stuff, or with stuns, or with keeping you. This is why she's good in the Infinity Shield comp. So yeah, I think that's Demitha. I think she's the best. You could argue Maneater over her. I just think because she's independent and because she unlocks some of the most in-game clan boss teams, I have her at number 1. So let's move on to the 5 best legendaries in the game for clan boss. All right, so the 5 best legendaries in the Raid Shadow Legends for clan boss was a difficult one to come up with. There are so many to choose from. There's so many amazing, unbelievable damage dealers. For example, I use Turvold. He is phenomenal. He didn't make my list. Like, it's just like, it's so difficult. And damage dealers, especially, are kind of a dime a dozen. So you really got to stand out for me to pick you. So let's go over the 5 champions I did pick. Picked a few different types of champions, that especially people that bring unique stuff. So, for example, I brought Valkyrie, who I don't have. Sad day. One of my most wanted champions. A1 doesn't do anything for the clan boss, but this is what it's all about. A2 attacks on enemies, places a shield buff on all allies for 3 turns. This is on a 3-turn cooldown. And counterattack on allies for 2 turns. The value of the shield and the damage inflicted are proportional to this champion's defense. So there's no ceiling. You put her with 10,000 defense, she places a 10,000 shield. This is a fun or an annoying turn meter to go against her in the arena, but for clan boss, it just makes it harder for her to speed tune. But basically, counterattack, there's only 3 champions that have it for the team. It's her, Martyr, and the Epic Skull Crusher. And she brings it, but she also brings a shield. And the shield is huge. For a long, long time, she was the best clan boss champion in the game, I think. And I was playing back then and really, really wanted her. And now I want her to build a team, but she's not near as meta as she used to be. But if you pull her early game, you're walking. I mean, you're cruising. It is just, that's a huge pull. Super cool. Very unique with the shields, like Helicath shields, and, you know, the counterattack as well. So, very unique. I put her in the 5. There's a lot of people you could argue over her, but I think she's unique enough and amazing, really, enough to justify that. Now, the next one I put is kind of, can't deny how good she is. The reason I was debating putting her or not is because she's so much better everywhere else. And that's Acrisia, my most wanted champion of the game. Every hit is enemy max HP. And she's probably the number 1 damage dealer in the game for PvE content. No one uses her in Clan Boss because she's so much better in Hydra and Spider and Dragon and Fire Knight and Ice Golem. And it's like, creating all battles, she's just a monster. I want her so badly. That kills me. But I think she's good enough to make this list over somebody that could Draco more for a Turvold because of how insane she is. But at the same time, just if you have her, I wouldn't use her in Clan Boss because she's so good everywhere else. And I'd kind of argue the same. So Crazy is one of the 2 damage dealers I put. I'd kind of argue the same thing here. If you have Ninja, it's kind of a waste to use him in Clan Boss. In my opinion, he's the best Clan Boss damage dealer in the game. For that video series, I tested 23 of them out. He was number 1 by a good bit. I think he did like 59 million with no weaken. So super complicated kit, but basically it does more damage to bosses. Decreased defense on the A1, HP burn and HP burn activation on the A2. Hard hitting A3, ignores some of the boss's defense, and decreases the cooldown of this skill. His passive increases his attack up to 100% extra attack and up to 25% extra crit damage each time a single enemy is blah blah blah. Over the duration of a long fight, his attack boosts up to 20% and crit damage up to 10%. Up to 100% and up to 25% extra crit damage. He just puts absolutely insane numbers out there. He's the best boss killer, particularly the best clan boss killer in the game. So what are you thinking? How do I have 2 champions above him? Just have Ninja at 3. It's just because as amazing as Ninja is, there's a lot of champions that can do close to what he does. There's a few champions that really can't do what anyone else does. So for the number 2, I have another dwarf, and that's Underpriest Brogni. Now, Underpriest Brogni is just simply amazing for keeping you affinity friendly. He's got block debuffs on a 3-turn cooldown for 2 turns. So he can keep you affinity friendly and he can block the stun. But particularly he enables single-handedly the Infinity Shield composition, which basically means he places his shield once and then everyone else extends the duration of it. He does this move, which attacks all enemies and then increases the value of shield buffs on all allies by 30% of the damage inflicted. So the shield just gets bigger and bigger the harder he hits. So your goal is to use like Krisk, Lanicus the Chosen, and one other, maybe Godseeker Neri or Hellborn Sprite, and Brogni plus the damage dealer. And the shield just grows and grows and grows and grows. It lasts super long. All the world record teams use Underpriest Brogni. So pretty unique, and that is just impossible without Brogni. For the regular person, he's not near as good, still amazing, but I put him at 2. And the reason I put him at 2 is because I put one of my favorite champions at number 1, and that is Helikath. And Helikath, kind of like Maneater, kind of like Tamitha, just enables his own unkillable compositions. And kind of like Tamitha, he can do it by himself, and he can actually do it by himself. You can build a slow Helikath team with him and 4 DPS champions. So he does block damage on all allies for 2 turns on a 4-turn cooldown. So what you do is you get him running 4-3. He'll place this up before the first AoE of the clan boss, protect everyone there and on the second one, and then you'll use his shield ability, which is proportional to his defense, to protect person from the stun. Another one, this is a super common one I build for viewers when I do takeovers, and I think it's one of the easiest ones to build. He's unbelievable. He counterattacks whenever block damage. Whenever someone under block damage takes a hit, he counterattacks. Whenever the shield expires, or block damage expires, they get increased defense. He hits really hard. He places weaken on his A1. He is just one of the best unkillable, or not even that, just one of the best clan boss champions ever released in the game. He is an absolute game changer. If you pull him when you're free to play, you're cruising to Ultra Nightmare. Easy. So that's going to be the video today, guys. I know I kind of rambled on a little bit. Let's recap. I have Kale, Apothecary, Heiress, Painkeeper, Frozen Banshee as the best rares. Tamitha number 1, Maneater, Deacon, Seeker, Geomancer for the best epics. Helikath, Brogni, Ninja, Acrizia, Valkyrie for the best legendaries. And those legendaries are a little more subject. I do feel strong about Helikath and Brogni. And probably Ninja too. Acrizia, Valkyrie, you can change them out if you want to. But those 3 I feel really, really good about. So that's going to be it for the video today, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.